Happy New Year, writers! We made it through what was an unexpectedly difficult 2020, and hopefully this year things will get better. So keep looking after yourselves until then. I am excited to start a new year and reclaim some motivation now that I am rested, and when you all feel ready, I hope you can do the same. Today, I wanted to share my writing goals for the next year, but also pass on a message to anyone that struggled with writing last year or who might need a little bit of a lift as we start another cycle around the yearly calendar. So let's get started. So, because there's no telling how this year is going to go, though it can't possibly get any worse than last year, I haven't set many goals. I haven't done what I would usually do and plan the entire writing year. I've just made a small list of three things that I want to get done. I'm going to be balancing writing with some voluntary studies this year, so my focus on writing will be less full on. Those of you who saw my new planner video will know that I'll be studying linguistics and prioritising my interest in language learning and reading a little bit more as well going forward. Writing is still incredibly important to me, but 2020 was an intense year writing-wise, so it'll be nice to be just a bit more relaxed about it this year while spending some time with my other interests. So what are my goals? The first one is to do a final proofread of my magical realism novella. I'm going to be starting that on Monday, and I'm hoping to have it done by the end of February, since now I'll only be writing a couple of days a week instead of 5. Once that proofread is done, that makes my second project in the space of 2 years that will be polished to publication quality. I guess I will shelve it and bide my time for now, but it will be good to have another project done and dusted. Secondly, I want to edit draft 1 of my second fantasy novel. I wrote draft 1 last summer and I let it sit for 2 months as usual, but then I just never picked it back up. I was questioning a lot of stuff at the time and I decided to just halt writing to focus on studying more for 6 months. But I'm going to try and balance writing with studying more, as I said, because it just feels wrong not to be writing. But when I pick up the novel in April to do the editing, I will be focusing solely on writing again for the time that I am doing those edits. Editing is something that has always needed more energy than writing for me, but I am really looking forward to it. So I'll be creating draft 2 and then sending the novel out on a 3-month beta read as per my process. My third goal is to write the first draft of a fantasy novella that I outlined in November. I cannot wait to write this one, I'm really excited about it, and I'm hoping to both start and finish draft 1 this year. And that is literally about it. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself, so it's just proofread a novella, edit a novel, and draft a different novella. If I find that I'm done with all these things earlier than expected, then I might finalise a few outlines for other ideas that I have floating around. Ironically, I've had more ideas for new books when I haven't been writing the past 3 months than when I am writing, but isn't that always the way? So please tell me about your goals for the year in the comments below. I would love to be able to wish you guys good luck. But enough about me. The main point of this channel is to help other writers, and so I wanted to pass on 5 things for you all to remember this year as you work on your projects. Number 1, we have just been through, to be quite honest, an absolute bitch of a year. And if you're not yet feeling ready to jump back into writing, into projects, not ready to jumpstart yourself back into the struggle of being productive, that is more than perfectly acceptable. You know, just take as much time as you need and don't let anyone or yourself pressure you. You're in control and no one has the right to rush you to getting back to things or to tell you when you should be working on your projects. Just look after yourselves, prioritize self-care, and that spark will return over time. Number 2, do not in any way feel guilty or useless or like a failure if you did not achieve what you wanted to last year. We have this horrible habit of expecting ourselves to carry on as normal all of the time. But last year has been so far from normal that we now have an entirely new vocabulary of words to describe it that didn't exist before this year. So there's no way to carry on as normal in circumstances that have just been so far off from that condition. We all have our own ways of coping with it, and you did what you needed to do, and that's fine. You hear me? It's completely okay to have let things fall to the side. It is not a failure of any kind. Number 3, If, like me, you queried in 2020, we definitely picked the wrong year. Agents have had to focus on their existing clients because of all the delays and issues caused to book releases in the industry. It's meant that they have not been able to acquire new clients or have been greatly slowed down when it comes to looking through their submission piles. So please don't be disheartened by it. I struggled with it a little, but ultimately I know the timing was just totally wrong. It doesn't mean the work you queried wasn't good or isn't worthy of publication. So keep it secret, keep it safe, and bide your time while the industry smooths out a little bit. It isn't a waste, it is still a finished product, and that is a huge accomplishment that is not lessened by something sitting on a shelf for a while. Number 4, remember to stay true to your stories. What I mean by this is that while you're working on projects, remember that they belong to you. So don't try and write the stories that other people want you to. When people give feedback, they do so based on what they think and what they prefer, and you don't have to take in every single suggestion for changes that you're given from people who test read your projects. That's an important thing that I learned. If you start trying to take in every change, then you're writing someone else's story and not yours. So hold your ground and stay true to what you want for your work. That is your right as a writer. Consider every point of feedback carefully, but don't think that you have to action every single one. Write what you want to read and others will share your interests. And number 5, finally, don't just write what you want, write the way you want. Don't ever let anyone tell you that there's a right or a wrong way to go about it. Your process has to suit you. Otherwise, what's the point? So forge a process that works to your preferences and strengths and stand by it. Writing is a diverse craft and every writer has the right to approach it however they want, however helps you get words on the page. Your process, whatever it is, no matter how different it is from everyone else, is valid if it helps you to get results. And while we are all here being so very serious about writing in this video, don't forget to have some fun as well. It is important to enjoy what we do and enjoy the craft, or anything you put creative effort into. I feel much better having rediscovered the joy in writing, kind of just letting go of all that pressure and expectation in the early stages and just letting things flow. And I hope all of you can find or rediscover that connection to your writing this year. You are a good writer and someone somewhere is waiting for your story. Before you go, leave one dream that you have for this year in the comments. So let's all do our best this year, whatever that means to us all as individuals. Happy New Year again, writers, and I will see you on the next topic video, which is coming on the 10th of January. Bye guys.